CMLL ran the Female Grand Prix 2025, and what you had here was a show built entirely around one match. The undercard here existed just to fill time, so the question became whether the main event could justify sitting through everything that came before it. Dragon, Fuego, and Legend Dragon faced Elemental and Yutani in the opener here, and this was pretty short by design. The match served its role as a card starter, and it didn't overstay its welcome, so you got efficient use of the limited time here. But nothing had a chance to develop or even breathe, so you couldn't establish rhythm or build any momentum here. Now the brevity here prevented exposure, but it also prevented anything meaningful from happening. And at just 1 3/4 stars, this set a low bar and felt a little bit disposable rather than purposeful. Now the real test would come next with the workers who had proven that they could deliver. Xelhua and Hechicero worked a lightning match with a 10-minute time limit. And these two had their Rev Pro match just a week or so ago that showed what they could do with proper time here. Now they used their 8-minute to about 8 and 32nd minutes in this match here wisely, and they pretty much maintained their technical approach within those constraints. So the pacing worked a little bit and the structure held together here. But sometimes technical styles naturally require more time to develop, so they had to adjust their natural rhythm and couldn't develop ideas beyond the foundational stage that they were presenting here. Now they laid the proper foundation and delivered the best version possible under those limitations, but they pretty much had to sacrifice the time needed for proper build and escalation here. And at just 2.5 stars, I thought this was solid for what it was, though you would leave the match knowing that they had potential left on the table. Now the question becomes whether the next match could break through that ceiling. Máscara Dorada and Titán took on Bárbaro Cavernario Difunto in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And this had enough time to establish a quality baseline here, and I also thought the 3 fall structure helped organize their time effectively and gave them a framework to work within. So in a sense, the match went long enough to show what they could do. But then Cavernario ripped Dorada's mask off in the 3rd fall, and while it generated the obvious heat, it undercut a match that was going well. The match for me at least needed just a few more minutes to reach that good level, but the structure couldn't compensate for that adapted runtime. So the format emphasized what was missing rather than what was there. And at just 2 3/4 stars, this felt lame to me, given the quality of work beforehand, pretty much as the finish shift focus from wrestling to a heated spectacle, which is understandable, but it was just happening when things were clicking here. Now everything rested on whether the Grand Prix could deliver. The Women's Grand Prix went close to an hour, or maybe it was an hour, and Persephone won after getting the chance to take full advantage of that extended runtime here. Now the time here allowed proper structure to develop effectively, and it gave everyone a chance to display their abilities. So the match at least reached that really good level, or for some of you maybe even a great level, through strong performances that overcame some technical problems during this match. But also the length of this match exposed some execution issues, some rough patches and smoothest problems, which kept this from reaching higher, at least for me. Now more time here meant more opportunities for some imperfection, and you're balancing multiple wrestlers, which means coordinating more through moving parts here. Now for me, the women delivered well overall despite some of those issues, but the execution inconsistencies prevented some greatness even as the final result here. So at just 3 3/4 stars, this was a match that elevated the card and at least showed that they can deliver when given the opportunity to some degree. CMLL's the Female Grand Prix 2025 for me gets a 6.75 out of 10. One legit good match can't overcome a weak undercard, and 3 of the 4 matches couldn't escape fine at best territory. The Grand Prix delivered with proper time and justified its position at least, so the show had a clear structure within the tournament as a centerpiece here. But the opener sets a poor tone. Time constraints limited the middle matches from reaching potential here, and too much competence existed without actual quality. Now the show delivered in some regards on its main event, but failed to build around it effectively. For me, skip this unless you want to watch the Grand Prix specifically, at least as a good watch, because the rest of the show had more misses than hits.